what we discussed today is the polar plot. So polar plot is nothing but the plot that is done with respect to the magnitude versus the phase of the system. So it is one of the graphical tool that is used for analysis of frequency domain, that helps in the analysis of frequency domain. So what is essential when we go for polar plot is to understand the type and the order of the system. So before we go into the depth of polar plot, which is also called as the Nyquist plot, we should understand what is type and order of the system. So we have four types here: type 0, type 1, type 2, type 3. The directions of which are shown here. So what is type 0? Type 0 is nothing but the system which has no poles at the origin, right? So if the system has no poles at origin, system becomes type 0. If the system has one pole at origin, the system becomes type 1. If the system has two poles at origin, the system becomes type 2. And the system has three poles at origin, the system becomes type 3. So you could see here, there is only one pole, the pole is at -1. So there is no pole at origin, this becomes type 0. There is one pole at origin, system becomes type 1. This S terms indicate that there is one pole at origin. The S square term here indicates that the system is type 2 because there are double poles at origin. And S cube indicates that there are three poles at origin, and we call such a system to be type 3. Then what is order of the system? So order of the system is decided by the maximum power of S. So when here the power of S is S raised to 1. So here the system order is 1. Here, when we evaluate the denominator, the highest power of S is 2. We call it to be order 2 system. Here, the order is 3. Highest power of S is 3. It is order 3. Here also it is order 3. Right. So, with this understanding of type and order of the system, right, this particular figure is just a guidelines for us of how the polar plot would be drawn. Okay, so what is the significance of type and order? So type indicates where the polar plot starts and order indicates where the polar plot ends. Right, so type indicates, I repeat, type indicates the start of the polar plot and order indicates the end of the polar plot. So this is type 0. So type 0 means the polar plot starts on this particular axis, and order 1 indicates that if the system is order 1, it's going to end in this particular quadrant of the system. So let us understand the polar plot with a certain example. To obtain the polar plot of the given open loop transfer function. So with the given open loop transfer function, the very first step to start with the polar plot is to analyze its type and order. So as we see, there is only one pole at origin, therefore we call it to be type 1. What is the order of the system here? Order of the system is 2. Highest power of S is 2, we call the order of the system to be 2. What we now do is, to start the polar plot, we first of all put the given transfer function into frequency domain. So how do we put the given transfer function in frequency domain? Is by replacing S by j omega. So when we substitute S as j omega, what we get is the frequency domain representation of the given transfer function. So wherever there is S in the given transfer function, we have replaced S by j omega. And this is how we get the frequency response of the given transfer function. Now from this frequency response, what we find is the magnitude and phase, because what we just discussed is polar plot is nothing but the plot of magnitude and phase. So to do the polar plot, what is essential first is to obtain the magnitude and the phase. So how do we obtain magnitude of a complex system? We obtain the magnitude of the complex system by taking the mod of it. So we obtain the mod of it and get the magnitude. So when we now take the mod of this particular term, right, we have two complex terms here. One is j omega and another is 1 plus j omega 2. Let us separately find the absolute value of both of them. So when we find the absolute value of 1 upon 1 plus j omega, we simply get omega. And when we find the absolute value of this term 1 plus j omega 2, it becomes real part square root of real part square plus imaginary part square, that is 1 plus omega square 2 square. So this is how we find the magnitude. What about the phase? We know that in a complex system, the phase is given by the relation tan inverse of imaginary part by real part. Right, so we need to find the imaginary part, we need to find the real part and take the ratio to get the phase of the system. So this is the given frequency response of the system. How do we separate out the imaginary part and the real part? So for the very first term, we'll try to rationalize the first term. So 1 by j omega, we rationalize it by multiplying and dividing by j omega. Similarly, the second term is also rationalized by multiplying and dividing it by 1 minus j omega 2. So when we simplify the first term, we get the equation as minus j omega. And when we simplify the second term, we get the equation as shown here. So the denominator here is a plus b, a minus b form, and we get a squared minus b squared, which turns out to be 1 plus omega squared tau squared. And from this second term, what we have done is we have separated the real part, we have separated the imaginary part, and now we will find the phase of both these terms. So let us find the phase angle of the first term. So as we have just discussed, phase is nothing but the ratio of imaginary part by real part. So what is the imaginary part here? It is minus 1 by 2. And what is the real part? It is 0. So it is tan inverse of 1 by 0 becomes infinity. So it is tan inverse of infinity. Tan inverse of infinity becomes 90 degree. And there is a minus sign associated here, because of which we get minus 90 degree. What about the second term? When we now take the ratio of the imaginary part by real part, we get the term tan inverse of minus omega 2. And this minus sign taken outside, we get the final phase equation as minus 90 degree minus tan inverse omega 2. So that is what we have obtained here. This is the phase. Now, as discussed at the start with the definition of polar plot, how do we do the polar plot is plot the magnitude and phase by varying the frequency from 0 to infinity. And that's the reason why now we will find what is the value of magnitude when frequency is 0, what is the magnitude of the given system when the frequency is infinity. We'll find both the magnitude as well as phase by varying the frequency from 0 to infinity. So this is the magnitude equation. When we put omega as 0 there, right, what we get? 1 by 0. 1 by 0 becomes infinity. And when we put omega as 0 in the phase equation, tan inverse of 0 is 0. So minus 90 is what is the phase when frequency is 0. Similarly, when we put frequency as infinity in the magnitude equation, 1 by infinity becomes 0. So magnitude is 0 when omega is infinity. And when omega is infinity in the phase equation, tan inverse of infinity is 90. And hence minus 90 becomes minus 180 degree. So we have now obtained both the magnitude and phase. From this information of magnitude and phase, we will plot the polar plot. So as discussed at the start, what was the type and order of the system? The type of the system was type 1 and the order of the system was 2. So now we know that the polar plot is going to start, at from the type 1 indicates the start. So type 1 tells that the polar plot is going to start from this particular axis, and the order tells us that it's going to end in this particular quadrant itself. So let us look at omega is equal to 0. What is the magnitude? Infinity. So when we take omega 0, we now understand that the magnitude is coming somewhere from infinity. So this magnitude is actually infinity there, right? It is coming from an infinity value. And as we increase omega and bring omega to a large value, say infinity, what happened to magnitude? Magnitude is now 0. And that's why, as you see, when omega is changing from 0 to infinity, right, the magnitude moves from infinity to 0. Right, so order 2 tells us that the particular polar plot ends in this quadrant, and that's the reason we get the shape of the polar plot as shown here. So this is the polar plot of the given problem. Let us now understand polar plot of one more example. So here we have changed the type of the system. So it's a type 0 system and order is 1. So it's a type 0 order 1 example. So let's start with the same procedure we had done for the earlier problem. the very first step is to put the given transfer function in frequency domain. So we'll replace s by j omega. So what we get is 1 upon 1 plus j omega. 2. We'll now find its magnitude. So magnitude of a complex system is found by taking the mod of it. So you could see here we have taken mod of g of j omega, and mod of this term is square root of 1 plus omega square tau square. So this is the magnitude part of it. How do we find the phase? So for phase we have to do again the same procedure of finding the imaginary part, finding the real part, right? So what is the imaginary part and real part for the given system? So we need to separate them to get the imaginary part and real part. So how do we separate the imaginary and real part from this? We simply try to rationalize it, right? So that we multiply it by 1 minus j omega 2, 1 minus j omega 2. So numerator turns out to be 1 minus j omega 2. Denominator is now simplified. There is no complex term in the denominator anymore. So a plus b, a minus b form gives me 1 plus omega square tau square. Right? From this, now we can easily separate out the real part and imaginary part. So taking the ratio of imaginary part to real part, we get the phase angle having a relation of minus omega tan inverse of minus omega 2. So bringing the minus sign outside, now we have the phase equation with us. So phase is minus tan inverse omega 2. So we have the magnitude, we have the phase. From this magnitude and phase, we now vary the frequency from 0 to infinity and see what is the values of magnitude and phase. So when omega is 0, right, put here omega 0 in the magnitude equation, we get magnitude to be 1. So magnitude is 1. And when we put omega as 0 in the phase equation, tan inverse of 0 is 0. When we put omega as infinity in the magnitude equation, so what we get, 1 upon infinity becomes 0. So magnitude becomes 0. And when we put omega as infinity in the phase equation, we get tan inverse of infinity, which is nothing but 90. So a minus sign here makes the phase as minus 90. So we now have the magnitude, we now have the phase. Using this magnitude and phase, we will now draw the polar plot. So again, let us quickly recall that the given system was type 0 system and order was 1. So the system is going to start from related to this particular axis and it's going to end in this quadrant, right? So when frequency is 0, what is the magnitude? Magnitude is 1. So let me say this is the point where magnitude is 1. So when omega is 0, the magnitude is 1 and phase is 0. So you could see here phi on this particular axis is 0. Now as you increase the frequency, what do we observe? As the frequency increases, the magnitude becomes 0. So we approach towards 0. And what happens to phase? Phase becomes minus 90. So you could see here on this particular axis, the phase is minus 90 degree. So this way we have used the values of magnitude and phase to do the polar plot. Type helped us to identify where the polar starts. Order helped us to indicate where the polar plot ends, in which region it ends. So this is the polar plot for the given transfer function. Let us understand with one more example. So the given transfer function is 10 upon s into s plus 1 into s plus 2. So this is the given transfer function. Now we'll obtain the polar plot for this particular transfer function. So looking at, let us identify the type and order of the system. So this particular system is type 1 because there is only one pole at origin, right? So as there is only one pole at origin, it's a type 1 system. And what is the order of the system? So the order is s cube we get when we evaluate it. So order is 3. So it's a type 1 order 3 system. Let us obtain the frequency response. Let us transform the given system into frequency domain by replacing s by j omega. So wherever there is s, we have replaced it by j omega. Now we'll find the magnitude and phase. Now we'll find the magnitude and phase. So wherever there is s, we had replaced it by j omega. Now we'll find the magnitude of it. Magnitude of the numerator, it's a real term, it remains the same. Let us find the magnitude of each of these terms. So mod of 1 by Mod of j omega simply becomes omega. Mod of j omega plus 1 becomes real part square plus imaginary part square. So we get square root of 1 plus omega square. Similarly, mod of this term becomes square root of 4 plus omega square. So this is the magnitude for the given transfer function. Now we need to find the phase. So we know the phase relation is tan inverse of imaginary part by real part. So we need to find the imaginary part and the real part for the given system. So let us look at each of the terms. So we have the first term 10 by j omega. We will try to rationalize it by multiplying it by j omega, j omega. We have the second term 1 by j omega plus 1. So we will rationalize it by j omega minus 1, j omega minus 1. And the third term in the system was 1 by j omega plus 2. So we will rationalize it by multiplying and dividing by j omega minus 2, j omega minus 2. So when we solve the first term here, when we solve this first term, we get minus j 10 by omega. When we solve the second term, right, we get the numerator to be 1 minus j omega, denominator becomes 1 plus omega square. And when we solve the third term, we get the numerator to be 2 minus j omega and denominator as omega square plus 4. So we have now rationalized each of the term so that there is no j term in the denominator. The purpose of rationalizing is that we identify no j term, and that helps us to separate the real and imaginary part. Now look at the first term. When we now start to find the angle, the phase angle, look at the first term. So first term, when we take the tan inverse of imaginary part by real part, so we know imaginary part is 10 by omega, but there is no real part here. Real part becomes 0. So 1 upon 0, as we know, is infinity. So we get tan inverse of minus infinity. The minus sign is because of the sign of the imaginary term. And we know tan inverse of infinity is nothing but 90. When we move to the next term, find the tan inverse of imaginary part by real part. The only term that remains is minus omega. Similarly, taking the ratio of imaginary part by real part for the third term, we get the phase angle to be tan inverse of minus omega by 2. So collecting all the terms, we get the phase angle as shown here, minus 90 minus tan inverse omega minus tan inverse omega by 2. So this is the phase and this is the magnitude. Now using this magnitude and phase, we will now try to plot the polar plot. So to start the polar plot, what we need to do is find the values of magnitude and phase for various range of frequencies. So let us start with finding the magnitude when we put omega as 0. So when we substitute omega as 0 in the magnitude equation, what we get? We get 1 by 0 term appearing. 1 by 0 turns out to be infinity. So when frequency is 0, magnitude is infinity. What about the phase? So when we put omega as 0 here, so tan inverse of 0 is 0, tan inverse of 0 by 2 again becomes 0. So the only term that remains is minus 90, so phase is minus 90. Now let us find magnitude and phase when frequency is infinity. So when frequency is infinity, the magnitude becomes 1 by infinity term. We get a 1 by infinity term in the magnitude part. 1 by infinity makes the magnitude 0. What about the phase? When we put infinity in the phase equation, we know tan inverse of infinity is 90 degree. Also we have one more term, tan inverse of infinity, which also makes this term 90 degree. So there are three 90 degree terms here, making the phase as minus 270. So with this magnitude and phase that we have obtained for the range of frequencies from 0 to infinity, we will now try to plot the polar plot. So when we begin with the polar plot, what is essential is to recall what is the type and order of the system. So the type of the given system was type 1. The order of the system was 3. So we know now that the system is having type is of type 1. So it's going to be related with this particular axis of the system. And order 3 means it's going to terminate in this particular region, in this particular quadrant. Now look at when frequency is 0, magnitude is infinity, right? So when frequency was 0, the magnitude of the polar plot is infinity. So it's appearing somewhere from infinity. And what was the phase? The phase is minus 90 degree. So where is minus 90 degrees? So definitely we know this is 0, this is 90, 180 and this is 270. Also we can understand that if this is 90, this becomes minus 90. So definitely this phase is equivalent to, this axis is equivalent to minus 90. So the phase is minus 90, magnitude is infinity. So at frequency 0 we have the magnitude, we kept it floating, indicating that the magnitude is infinity here. And now as you change the frequency from 0 and move towards infinity, the magnitude becomes 0. And you could see how we have terminated the polar plot. We have terminated the polar plot here in this quadrant because the system is of order 3. So order 3 means this particular plot is going to terminate in this quadrant of the polar region, right? So when omega becomes infinity, right, we are going to terminate the polar plot in this particular region and the magnitude becomes 0. So when frequency is infinity, magnitude becomes 0. So this is the polar plot for the given problem.